grace is sufficient. My grace is sufficient. My grace. My grace.
Song's called Your Grace is Sufficient. And this song is in D. I'll just play through the verse progression for you slowly. So this is a B minor chord. Instead of doing that, we land there. A, something. G, F sharp over D, E minor. And then A. So that's the progression.
What are you gonna do when the doctor comes into the waiting room? Puts his hand on you and says, I'm sorry. What are you gonna say to God?
And then on the second half of this verse, the first half I think we kind of did just kind of a straightforward pulsy.
What are you gonna do when the doctor comes into the waiting room? Puts his hand on you and says, I'm sorry.
And then we did a call and response thing between the piano and the guitar on the second half. I don't know if I can do it without a piano, but
what are you gonna say to God when all you do is pray to God to take the thorn away? And all you hear him say is,
we're going into the chorus here, in which we kind of strum, kind of open it up and strum triplet style, which is a little interesting when you sing at the same time.
all you hear him say is, my grace, my grace, my grace is sufficient, my grace is sufficient, my grace, my grace, my grace is sufficient, my grace is sufficient.
And so that those chords, if you slow them down,
My grace, my grace,
pretty easy chords.
my grace.
And then when I play that first chord in G, sometimes I'll just play these and let these two notes, or I won't play the bottom note, but this note kind of ring out.
My grace is sufficient.
And then A.
My grace is sufficient. My grace. My grace. My grace is sufficient.
And then there's a tag that's a little bit different. It just walks down, so just to walk down. And again, that chord with the B string. And then I put this down right there, and then make a D chord. And then take this, your first finger off the bottom string. So there's a little walk up in here that happens on this walk, on the G. So I'm really just following the vocal line there. So, this is just the tag. And then we're back into a verse most of the time.
What are you gonna say about that?
So there you go. And at the very end, there's a down chorus.
My grace, my grace, my grace is sufficient.
You just strum those chords real open and light, and then obviously goes back into a chorus, a bit into a big tag, and at the end,
What are you gonna say to came your way, but you forgot to thank him. And all you hear him say is my grace. And so it's nice to just maybe drop the pick or whatever you're gonna do, and just play these chords with your fingers. Are real simple to play. What are you gonna say to God when all you say came your way, but you forgot to thank him? All you hear him say is my grace. And maybe put the F sharp in the. So there you go. My grace is sufficient. What are you gonna say to God when everything you prayed to God came your way, but you forgot to thank him? And all you hear him say is my